Get to her house, parents are gone. I decide, okay, I'm gonna go up the stairs and I'm gonna sneak in. Something did seem off though. So I go in, the chocolate's on the side in the counter, and I sneak with the flowers, and I get to her bedroom, and I hear a funny noise. I open the bedroom door. Now for context, she owns a Labrador.
Wait.
Heartbreak! Oh, my word. I've got a story for you guys about one of my ex-girlfriends. It is absolutely beautiful, and it's gonna be your... God, it was bad. It was so bad. Okay, so... Let me just not fall off the chair there. I've had a few girlfriends in school, I had a few boyfriends. No, swing both ways. Best of both worlds. Now... I had a girl in primary school. Loved her to bits. I was also in primary school at the time, if you're wondering.
Didn't need to confirm that, but good you did.
Listen. Yes. Oh my god. Sorry, I had to. We dated for a while, and then Valentine's Day came around. I brought her chocolate and flowers, and she brought me nothing, and then she just went on her day and pretended I didn't exist. Yay. Anyway, fuck that. I didn't like her much anyway. She grew up to be an absolute, community fleshlight, I guess that's a good way to put it. Communal fleshlight. It wasn't even fucking community, it was anyone. But yeah, then I dated this one girl who we were together for a long time. Her name was, and I loved her dearly. And that was close towards the end of high school. I'm gonna go with the girls first and I'll talk about the boys. So that was closer to the end of high school. I had my car license, and we had been together for about 6 months, happily together. Never fought, always joked about small petty things. She was an absolute sweetheart and I loved her dearly. One day, school holidays rolled around. My parents tell me, hey, we're going on holiday. I message her and say, hey, I'm going on holiday with my parents. I'm not going to see you for a while. I love you dearly, blah, 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 blah. Because in Africa, you don't really have a lot of signal wherever you go. So you normally say goodbye before you leave because there's a good chance you're just not going to have signal at the place you get to. You might have a landline, but that's about it. So afterwards, my parents say to me, it's like, by the way, you know, you can stay at home. You don't have to come on holiday with us. Like, oh, I can? And they're like, yeah, go visit your girlfriend or something. Like, yeah. My parents giving me permission to be a horny teenager. Yay! Anyway, so they leave. I hop in my car. And I go and get a nice big box of chocolates and a box of condoms. The lady at the cash register was questioning why high schoolers buying condoms. It was quite funny. And then when I told her, it's like, do I have to tell you? She's like, why aren't you getting lube? I went out. So I went to add a lube to that, because the cashier told me to. Anyway, on the way across, came across some nice flowers being sold, because it was spring, and all the flower people were out selling flowers. I bought some flowers. Handed the guy a crusty 20 Rand note, and went on my way, got to her house, saw the parents' cars were not there, but the gate was unlocked. Or the gate to the house, because in South Africa, every single house has bars on the windows. Every single one. Go on Google Maps, drop anywhere in South Africa, you will find bars on the windows and a barred gate in front of the door. We have a lot of break-ins, we have a lot of crime, but it's what I grew up with. It's really weird being in the UK and not having that. How uncomfortable I feel that my window over here can stand wide open, and I know no one's going to crawl through, and there's no metal bars on it.
You sure?
Like, it's like, where's my 6-foot fences? But anyway, get to her house, parents are gone. I decide, okay, I'm going to go up the stairs and I'm going to sneak in, because the maid is obviously there if the door's standing wide open. Get there, maid is not there, but the door's open. Something did seem off though. So I go in, put the chocolates on the side in the counter, and I sneak with the flowers, and I get to her bedroom, and I hear a funny noise. I open the bedroom door. Now, for context, she owns a Labrador.
Wait.
Okay, maybe not go further into detail into that.
I closed that door. Being we had only done missionary, that was the first time I saw her on all four. I dropped the flowers. I was just like, nope. I heard her screaming, like, fuck, you didn't see anything. No, is somebody like that? I was like, no. I got out the door, down the stairs, got in my car, drove off. I was like, not dealing with that. Not even gonna think about that. Being the stupid teenager I was, I told fucking everyone, every single person in my contact list what I saw, which I fully regret because that was a really shit thing for me to do. She didn't come to school the next day, or the next time school rolled around after the holiday. There was just no word from her. She had just disappeared. I think her parents might have moved her to a different school or something. I don't know. She just never came to school again. She also never answered any of my text messages when I was lonely and horny, and I messaged her again thinking, I could forgive her, I think. Or is that just my teenage hormones kicking in? Yeah. That didn't work out well.
Not expecting that. I was waiting for you to say that she was there with another guy.
Yeah.
That just caught me off guard.
I know, there was another guy. He was also my best friend. Man's best friend. More like man's best friend with benefits.
God.
There is no God, but that scene rolled, man.
There was no saving that. There was no saving her from that. I know.
No way. No comeback.
That was bad. That traumatized the fuck out of me. I wasn't even a furry then. Actually, no. At that point, I was a furry. Trailing off that story. Actually, hold on. Boyfriends didn't work out too well. Had one lovely guy, Joshua. He was the first person I ever slept with. His parents found out he was gay and he disappeared. Don't know what happened with that. Never heard from him again. There was this guy who was supposed to be my first boy kiss. And we got downstairs and he wanted to kiss me and he came in for a kiss and I was just like, no, I'm sorry. Too many feelings. I'm overwhelmed. I haven't kissed a man before. I only kissed women. This is weird.
Oh.
And I ran off, and he went and sliced his wrists. We were all stupid teenagers. We all got depressed over dumb things. He hated me, though, after that, permanently. Yeah.
Damn.
Yes, where were we?
It is just like keep pulling up with those stories of like you dating and having a
Apparently
relationship
don't
with
break
people,
up with me, otherwise you disappear.
and it's wild. Like, oh my god, it's like all the people disappear or no, I'm wrong, but yeah, that is wild.
Yeah.
That is just
Me
wild.
and Joshua were so happy, and then he's like, I told my parents and they're not happy. I was like, oh, well, it's okay, you'll survive. Hello?
Apparently he didn't.
Hello?
Oh.
I'll see you at school tomorrow. Never seen him again. Hope he's okay. Joshua, if you're out there and you're watching this, what the fuck, man? Why aren't you messaging? Oh well. Yes. I had this problem growing up where whenever I received a new toy, I would play with it for about an hour, and then it would be in pieces because I would take it apart because I want to know how it works. My mom, I think it was my dad actually, bought me a very, very expensive little toy train that actually had realistic smoke coming out of it. And I was just like mind blown by this. And it would go around, it would go around, it would go around. And I loved that little toy train. I loved it to bits, and it was like autism levels of love. I then took it apart with a hammer.
Oh,
My parents were never really well off. My parents were never really, we grew up very, very, very poor. And that was a very, very, very expensive train that I just took a fucking hammer to because I wanted to know how it worked. Oh, my dad just like opens a window, looks at me, he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It doesn't want to work. I want to know how it works." Closes the window. That was, I think, the last time my dad bought me a gift for a very long time.
Christ.
Oh, word. ADHD, yes. 7, 8 years old, my parents discovered there was something wrong with me. I kept taking things apart, I kept breaking things, I kept trying to figure out how things work. I didn't understand what was going on. I just went to a doctor, sat down, who talked to me. He jingled some keys in my face, and then he showed me some papers, and then he jingled some keys in my face again with the papers, and kind of determined that, this kid has a bit of a attention issue. And then I went to see a specialist, and I was diagnosed with ADHD around that age. I was that weird kid who would get taken out of class once per day for an hour to go sit with some random lady in an office, where she would do little activities with me, drawing, coloring in, trying to get me to keep my attention on certain things. And she did a massively great job. Until she kind of just quit. She just quit working for the school and left, and then I just spiraled. Ended up failing 2nd grade because brain no worky. Well, actually, my brain worked fine. I think my mom kind of forced me to stay back in the 2nd grade. Because I did pass. I passed. But my mom made me stay back, and I get the feeling it was punishment for something really petty. She was a lovely mother, I promise. It's really affected me growing up. When I got to high school, at least, I finally said to my parents, like, "Listen, I need some kind of medication because I keep staring at the clouds and it's not working for me. Like, I can't concentrate on work. I can't write shit down. I keep falling asleep in class." I was reading 50 Shades of Grey in class, which was really funny because the teacher found the book and she's like, holds the book up, and I'm just sitting there with a big smug smile on my face, like, "Yeah, I was reading 50 Shades of Grey in class." And then all the girls in our class started reading 50 Shades of Grey because they saw I was reading them. So I guess I had a positive influence. Made kids read smut.
Trendsetter.
Trendsetter. Now, the issue I have as an adult is I have an ADHD diagnosis, which is expired. But now I'm living in the UK where I thought, I could just go get it redone. None of my previous diagnosis, as well as my proof of medication, means nothing in the UK. They said I'll have to start from the beginning and go to a specialist and everything from the start to get a proper diagnosis. I'm like, but here's my diagnosis. Here's proof that I was on medication. Here's the paper to say I am broken. And they just said, "No, that's great and all. I guess we can keep this one side and use it as reference, but we will have to start the process from the start." I hate the UK's medication system because I'm still on a waiting list just to be seen by a specialist. It's been months.
Yeah.
And I can't concentrate, and it affects me at work.
Yeah, how long did you wait?
Mine was 2 years.
I'm gonna jump off a bridge. I'm not gonna survive that.
You could be right at the beginning, to be honest.
True.
Yeah, the thing about especially ADHD is like basically how it went back then. We were just like primal age and stuff like that, with like just sticks and stones to weapons, stuff like that. It was like having ADHD was absolutely great and stuff like that, and you were like a hero of hunting. But I believe like after times have changed, and especially after like in the industries and stuff like that happened, and like just 8-hour shift happened, just like repeating the same tasks sometimes boring.
What is designed for normality, not for
Yes.
neurodivergency.
Suddenly that once gift has become to somewhat of a curse, especially if you don't know how to handle it. But it was unnoticed. It's like, oh yeah, it's just something wrong with him. He just has to, I don't know, be more motivated or try harder and something like that. And then we're like on till, I believe it's like 2010, maybe even later, until like it just became an uprising of diagnosis, because especially through internet and stuff like that, people were like, yeah, this is I have ADD, ADHD, and this is like my symptoms and stuff like that. Basically that, and more and more people looked at it and were like, hold on, I feel it, I have that too, and so more and more people got themselves diagnosed. But it's like, I don't know. Some people, especially people who don't have ADD or ADHD, see it as more like, yeah, it's just a trend and stuff like that. But it's like just these, I don't know, centuries of like people just not knowing what's actually wrong with them that drove them to near insanity. Because if you if you don't know about it and can't give it a name, it's just like you end up in depression and stuff like that, because you want to do it but you just can't. And just like, I mean, like I said, just something like 2010, stuff like that, maybe later, it just started and more people got diagnosed. And people who were diagnosing people weren't ready for that. It's like, this scale, like so many people have ADHD already diagnosed, but there's like probably at least triple the size still undiagnosed. And it's just like, so many people have ADD or ADHD, but it's like they didn't know yet, and it's just wild. That is one of the reasons why, especially after Lou had the same thing with like me, where I just tell him like, yo, this and this, like my symptoms basically. He was like, for himself was like, yo, I've struggled with the same thing, so we went also for like diagnosis. And that was like, at this time I was like, hey yo, I have to get the word out more. It's like, many people suffer from it but don't know what it is. And it's like, no, sometimes like, sometimes people are lazy, but like this type of lazy you cannot beat. You can find ways to get around it, but first you have to know what it actually is to find solutions to it, to cope with it. Like I said, it's one of the reasons why I just want to get the word out. It's like, this and that may be the symptoms, and this and that can help you to cope with, or just like, even just getting diagnosed. It's like, so many people also think like, yeah, that's just me being lazy and stuff like that, and just spiral down all the time. It's like, it helped, especially me also, like so much, like from my own experience, it helps so much just know what it is. And yeah, that is also one of the small points of this podcast. Get word out.
Hell yeah. Get word out a bit. Listen, if you can sit still, figure out why.
And that early, because you're gonna wait a long time.
You're gonna wait a long time. If you worry that you do have something, you just get it checked out.
Right now. Put on the calendar right now.
Well, on the topic of mental health issues, I guess we could go over to the other thing that I suffer with. I don't really suffer with it. It's not really a problem anymore. Narcissism. So, as my therapist had said to me, I had to at least get something from my mother. Unfortunately, I got her lovely, lovely psyche, which included a very, very strong lack of emotion towards other people and a constant need to be correct, which fucked me over in life a lot. When I had left high school, I was just moody constantly. Now, another issue that comes with narcissism is you build this ego, this really obnoxious ego, which either attracts people it attracts the wrong kind of people and it puts good people off. Now, I had started 2019-ish, left high school, worked on a farm for a bit. It didn't really dawn on me that I was, problematic. Because I would be shouting at workers all the time anyway, regardless of whether I knew it or not, or whether it was a good reason or not. I would always have to shout at them. We had some stupid workers. I went over to the UK, and when I left high school, I came to the UK. I started a job in construction for a while, hated it. Left that, went up north to London, got shit-faced at a bar, woke up in a random guy's apartment who then offered me a place to stay, and so long as I could get a job. Same day that he gave me that offer, I managed to land an interview. It was a wild ride, my first time in the UK. Yeah. I stayed there for a while, I got comfortable, and that's where I started to realize I would go to London first, and people liked being around me. I'm charming, I'm friendly, I'm, entertaining. People enjoyed being around me, and that just started building up this ego, this very narcissistic personality where I could start selecting the people I wanted to keep around, and I kept keeping around the wrong people. People who would boost my ego, but wouldn't be good people. And I started to let it get to my head, and I got this whole God complex. And I was rude to people. I was really rude. And they would just accept it because, it's just hipster. I got into a lot of trouble with London First staff because I would upset people. And I would just tell them, get the fuck over it. I would be spiteful. There's a lot of spiteful things I did. Someone would upset me and I would just go and mess with their relationship or try and, shit talk them in a way that I knew would affect them. I hated that. I mean, at the time I didn't. That's the problem. I didn't realize just how emotionally detached I was from the world. So, got into a few arguments and I started losing these friends that I kept around because they were changing. They were growing up. They were changing their personality. You keep changing personalities until you hit roughly 25, when your brain stops developing. Because once you hit 25, that's a personality you're stuck with for the rest of your life. But they were changing and I wasn't. And they were becoming nicer people and they didn't like being around me. And that's when it started to dawn on me, something must be wrong, because I started to realize that I was just generally rude. So I ended up going back to South Africa just after COVID because I had lots of issues keeping a job. I was burning through my savings because I let go of some of my hours so that other workers could get extra furlough because I had kids. So I ended up just saying stuff this and I went back to South Africa where I ended up going to therapy. I thought to myself, I want to know why I am who I am. And I went to therapy. And I had the greatest therapist ever. She was absolutely amazing. This lovely black girl, big afro, and she didn't take shit from me. Anytime I would try and be spiteful, she would just essentially mentally water gun me in the face, like pss, pss. It's like, I'm not playing your game. It's like, yeah, she would essentially mentally keep me in check every time I try to act out, and then she would question me. It's like, what have you done recently? Have you been mean to anyone? Have you... What have you been doing? It's like, oh, well, I got into an argument with a friend. It's like, why did you get into an argument? It's like, yeah, well, he wasn't listening to me. Did you listen to him? Like, well, why do I need to? I know I'm right. And it's like, yes, you might be right, but you can't approach it in that way of just immediately knowing I'm right. Put yourself in their shoes. Because even though they're wrong, even though they're stupid in your eyes, they still need some reassurance that they have a say. And, yeah, she would help me develop a lot of strategies, which I've essentially just been using, eventually turning into doing them naturally. Like, for instance, if I get into an argument with someone, the first thing I do is I apologize. The issue that came with that, though, is something she warned me about, that there is a lot of people who will take an apology as, like, a victory trophy. Quite recently, in fact, I got into an argument with a friend, because I was upset, because someone I knew a long time ago had been talking badly about me, and that doesn't work well in my head. I don't understand. If I've done nothing but say positive things about you behind your back, why are you going and saying horrible things about me when we left on a good note? So I went and confronted said person. They were just like all wishy-washy about it. Oh, well, I just have a bad opinion on you. It's like, okay, cool, but I don't talk badly about you. It's like, well, yeah, but that doesn't mean I have to. I'm like, okay, well, that's a really horrible way to think. Especially now that I know you've also been making up lies. And, you know, saying horrible things about me that just aren't true. But anyway, that's one thing aside. I went to a friend, or someone I called a friend, and just said, like, hey, listen, they said you said this. Did you say it? And they said, no, I'm not taking part in this. This is charged. Started going on about, like, well, what if that person's right? Now, what do you mean? Like, what if that person's right? It's like, yeah, but you did horrible things in your past. What if you keep doing them? It's like, I don't. That's what therapy was for. That's what I've been working on. And when people say stuff like that, try and compare me to an old version of me that they never met, it messes with my head, because I'm like, I'm not that person anymore. I'm mentally trained to not be that person. It causes me panic whenever people think like that. It's like, then I have to remind myself, it's like, you didn't even know me back then. You didn't even know what I went through. I lost a lot of friends. And thankfully, through therapy, I was able to become self-aware of what I do, how I act, and albeit I'll never be able to emotionally understand someone, I can... Cognitive empathy, that's what it's called, where I can't show you empathy, but I know I need to show you empathy. So I will at least pretend so that you feel better. Because at least it's an illusion for you.
But it's like I've never been in like your situation, but I get especially the part with the empathy point, especially like how you said it, how you told it. It's just like I can at least sort of get a glimpse how you feel. It's like
I can't emotionally connect with you, but I can show you that I care by saying that I care.
Yeah. Also, it is funny because no, it's not funny, but it's like
a little
your
bit
curiosity, your absolute curiosity, theoretically saved you 2 times. First one, like with the drugs, you know how to use them now really well and can help other people, and also with your narcissism, because it's really hard to get out of narcissism. You usually don't think that something's wrong with yourself until somebody points it out, and even then it's like, oh, you're wrong, something like that. I can imagine how hard it is just like to get like this first step of like, oh, I might be a narcissist, because it's like the whole point of narcissism. You think that you're cool. Also, just like your curiosity just like made that first step. Theoretically, you just thought to yourself like, yo, what if? And it's like, I want to know more about it. I want to know more about myself. That kind of brought you out, and it's like really good.
No, I agree with that. If I hadn't done it, I would have definitely not been the person I am today. I would have been so much more bitter, so much more sour. Anger issues. That's one thing I'm still getting a grip on, is anger issues. As you've probably seen when we're playing CS, me with Frank, you can see me holding on to a fucking string sometimes. And I'm finding a fun way of coping with that, where I just take the headset off and just lie in my hand and go, "Ah!" It's like, I love you, but please. Yeah. There's a lot of things that people can do to trigger you to react violently, like undermining how you feel. That's a big one for people with ADHD and people like me with narcissism. Is if they undermine you to just try and get under your skin, make something that is important to you seem insignificant because they feel it that way. That really just gets under your skin. That makes you boil. Because now you want to be right. But this person is essentially mocking you in a way. Like with me, with that whole situation that I recently went through. I guess another point that I wanted to bring up was, being that I lack a lot of emotional connection with people, recently I've had the same person, they've essentially fallen in love with me. They've gone head over heels for me, gone on a whole spiel about, oh, I believe in soulmates and I want to be together forever and blah blah. I really want to meet you. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Let's meet in person first. Because, you know, I don't have the same feeling that he's having for me. But I would like to meet a person first before I make any decisions. As time went on, I spent less and less time with him because, you know, I've got other things to do. This is something that mentally I've put on hold until we can meet in person. They just stopped talking to me and they ghosted me. And I tried chatting to them. They would not respond to me. They were just being full-on spiteful as if I'm an ex. EF comes around. They more than happily come meet up with me and we have a talk. And I'm like, oh, sorry that I made you feel this way. And they're like, yeah, well, you're a narcissist, you're a dickhead, you're this, you're that, you're blah, 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 blah. You know how terrible you made me feel? I'm like, cool. I don't remember fucking marrying you. Like, yeah, well, I felt really bad, and that's why I stopped talking to you. But when I heard you were coming to EF, like, I had to bring myself to come and say hi to you. Like, I was gonna face my fear, because I wasn't gonna let you be a monster living in my head. I'm like, cool, way to make me feel good. And then EF was fine, and we all went our separate ways after that. And I didn't take anything emotionally away from that. But apparently they had re-fallen in love with me. We chatted for a while and I thought we were just friends. Out of nowhere, they stopped talking to me. I'm like, okay, this is odd. So let me try and talk to them. And they keep giving me the cold shoulder. They keep antagonizing me and they keep being rude. But the thing is, they're trying to use the issues that I face against me at the moment. That's when they brought up the whole thing of, you look like you're repeating old bad habits. It's like, no, I'm not. You didn't even know me back then. Like, why are you using that against me? And then they would say, like, I heard this about you, and I'd be like, well, that's not true. And they would say, yeah, if it's not true. Purposely trying to antagonize me. And the second I, like, raise my voice, I'm like, listen, don't do that. They go, oh, of course, he's getting angry. Look at the narcissist getting angry. I'm just like, dude, I went through a lot. I've gone through therapy to get better. And when you do stuff like that, when you undermine my progress because you're feeling spiteful, it really hurts me. Like, I've done nothing but be nice. I've never said a bad thing about the person. But they see it as their right because they know that I'm just going to apologize. I'm not going to fight back because I don't want to fight back because I know I can get really spiteful. I know I can get really rude. I know I can do horrible things. I'm not going to go John Wick them, don't worry. I'm not that cringe. But I know I can be a really spiteful person and I can take things too far. That's why I just fold and say I'm sorry, because that's the quickest way. Even though I don't mean it, it's the quickest way to end the argument. But they see that as an opportunity for them to only be right and only them to be right. And that they use that against me. And I've stopped talking to them now, but I know for a fact I'm soon going to hear about like, oh, yeah, because I was right, he's ghosting me now. Or Hipster's ghosting me again. I know that I'm going to be expecting that, and that's what's spinning in my head, and I don't want that to be. Because I know that's just old narcissistic habits, but they are causing them to flare up. They would never say sorry for anything they've done, but they know for a fact I'll apologize if I've upset them. Yeah, that's one thing my therapist had warned me about, is people that do that.
Well, I was just going to say, their actions actually sound quite narcissistic, to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah, I would love to say that to their face. I would love to, but I know for a fact they're gonna just immediately deny it. Try and change topics. They fell in love with me on 2 occasions, and both occasions I wasn't interested, and suddenly I'm treated like shit, and I'm being bullied, and I can't talk to them anymore, even though I fully trusted them when I was really upset, as someone I can go talk to. But it is what it is. Oh my word. Wagon beans are great.
They're really good, yes.
Sorry,
you can show it this way, maybe we get more views.
Behold, the wagon beans. Also, I just
free.
Their actions are really narcissistic, and now that you say that, it kind of puts my mind at ease a bit. I also just realized that those leaves over there look like the don't look look at that. The fucking hey, I've got something on my shirt. Oh. You hold like a little OK sign.
Oh. That thing. I just like,
haven't done
oh
that
look,
since
you
high
got
school.
clipping, and I just
Yeah, like fucking bends
doing the Contigo.
make you feel the Contigo, yeah.
The Contigo, yes.
It's a great name for it, the Contigo.
Yes. Like he does it so often, so I was just like, I don't know how to call it, I'm just gonna, it's the Contigo. Like,
Get Contigo'd.
yes.
And then there's me just taking crotch shots of all my friends with a camera. There's a reason for it, and you're all gonna love it when it's finished. I got a big stupid project I'm working on.